This is a 2026 GMC Sierra 2500 Denali, and I completely forgot about a package that was offered on this truck when they did the refresh. Most of you guys probably already know what I'm talking about, but we're gonna show what it is here in a second. Now, I borrowed this truck from Jerry Seiner, GMC here in South Jordan, Utah. It is available for sale. Let's go ahead and check out the window sticker so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. And I'm gonna break down that package for you here too. At the very top is a description with the colors. And then here is the standard equipment. Be sure to pause to see more. Now, base price is $75,200. And then here are all the options. So you guys see the diesel and the Denali reserve package. Max trailering package is $1,540, and then trailer tire pressure was added to this. Destination is $27.95 for a total price of $91,410. Now you guys can see my screen here. I know that the window sticker did kind of break this down, but I want to go a little bit deeper here. So you get the 1-ton frame, leaf springs, and shock package. Also, you go from an 11.5-inch ring gear on the standard 3/4 ton trucks to a 12-inch ring gear. And fifth wheel prep package pretty much comes a part of this package too, which gives you spray and bed liner standard. So all that's there. Lastly, you do get a higher gross vehicle weight rating. So it goes from 11,350 to 11,750. However, if you do have a longer bed, that's gonna increase these numbers by 150 pounds. Respectively. So with that, I think the $2,085 is a nice package for those who don't want to go to a 1-ton. In some states, they do treat 1-tons as commercial vehicles, and if you go over 12,000 pound gross vehicle weight rating, it could change taxes and registration as well. So that's the main reason why this truck does exist. Now, in a lot of cases too, maybe some people don't need a 1-ton, and so this overbuilt 3/4 ton kind of fits the bill too, because let's just say you have a 32-foot travel trailer and you plan on hauling a bunch of heavy stuff in the bed. Well, this package gives you extra payload capacity for that, and it gives you the more upgraded rear suspension, which I'll show you guys here in a second. Now, I do know if you want to get this on a regular cab truck, that package is available, as well as the crew cab configuration, whether it be a long or standard bed. I did notice, however, on the double cab, the package did not show available for the GMC side of the house. So just do some research in regards to that. But if you want a really nice top trim level, that's another reason why you would go with that max trailering, because that higher gross vehicle weight rating does give you more payload capacity too. So that's the main reason why that package is good too, for those people who just want the higher trim level but want to obviously keep a good payload capacity. Obviously, if you go to a lower trim level though, the payload would be higher. But Denali is a nice trim. You have painted bumpers, and it pretty much comes standard with all the goodies too. So 360 camera, premium lighting, front parking sensors, all that standard on this truck. Functional hood scoop. The only thing is you got to make do with all this chrome, because they still don't allow you to delete it unless you do it aftermarket. Now, on the front, there is still a camper package available, and this truck did not have that package. But here's a quick peek at the tires. Tires do not change on this package. However, I'll show you guys the yellow sticker here in a second. That might change your tire pressure, and that's the main reason why I've told you guys in the past. In a lot of cases, going to a 1-ton may not be advantageous if you're not really planning to tow heavy or haul heavy, right? Because the main reason why that axle is overbuilt is because you have to run at max tire pressure for max capacity. And the 3/4 ton allows you to run those tire pressures a lot lower. Like, for example, I have an AT4X, so I can run my tire pressure a little bit lower too. Now, 20-inch wheels, these Goodyear Wrangler Current ATs are really good tires. LT 275/65/20, so 34.1 inches tall. I think 11.8 inches in width, I believe. And as far as capacity goes, 3,750 pounds at 80 PSI cold. Fixed running boards, you can get power. You have lights on the front of the mirror and on the rear. You guys see your mirrors, you have the blind spot This is still manual, more cameras to help make up that 360, and you have smart key system on the front doors only, but 27.5 tons will have it on the back, which means when they redesign this truck, it's most likely going to have it on both too. You do have a little bit of skid plates down below. This is splash protection because of the X31 package. 36 gallon, 7 gallon there. And as I mentioned, here's your leaf pack. So the only thing that really changes here is they give you these additional leaves with this bump stop. That's really it. I know that they say that the framing is different, but I looked under this truck alongside of a 3500. I did a video on it. Could not tell the difference. I think I did it on the Chevy too, by the way. However, you do have a liner back here. You have these side marker lights, steps built into the side of the bed, full LED taillights, multi-pro tailgate, class 5 hitch. You have your camera provisions right here. Then you have 7-pin. I like the fact that GM does still give you the lock. Ford took that away for whatever reason. And check this out. Multi-pro tailgate. You have 400 watts of power, bed lights, tie downs on all 4 corners, fifth wheel prep package, and spray-in, as I said earlier, came part of that max trailering package. And check out my Juggernaut promo code down below. As I mentioned earlier too, this truck did have the 12-inch ring gear, 342 rear with a G80, which is the automatic locker. There's your spare tire. And lastly, side view. One thing I like about the DURAMAX diesel is the consistency. This engine, if you've watched any of my acceleration tests in the past, are pretty much neck and neck with the Ford's high output power stroke. And even when I do towing tests, they perform extremely well. And that's because this is an updated DURAMAX diesel. It's the Gen 2 L5P, good for 470 horsepower, 975 pound-feet of torque. All that power goes through a Allison transmission, stamp approved. I get it, I understand. So they did cancel the divorce, so they're still together for now. Denso fuel pump injectors, 15W40 oil. Be sure to check out my promo code for Banks. You guys know all my parts that I like if you've been watching my videos. I will add too, I have a website now for Lorenzo Oil and their bypass. If you want longevity, and I'm talking about true longevity out of these engines, you have to do a little bit more, and I hate to say that because of the fuel that we use. Biodiesel is not your friend, especially if you're not an avid driver. If you're not driving these trucks constantly and getting new fuel all the time, it can become an issue in the future. So just do some research on that. I've done videos around that as well, and I wish that things were more clear, right? I know that trucks are having failures, and it's not just one manufacturer, but I will say, if you are staying on top of your maintenance, that does definitely make a big difference. And of course, I'll add fuel additive. I highly recommend it just to get back that lubricity. But if you're using it for better fuel economy and things like that, you probably won't see a major difference in it. It just depends on how you look at it, because sometimes fuel additive can lower your regen, which can contribute to better fuel economy. 9 speaker Bose on this truck, and one thing I like about the Denali is you can adjust the lumbar up and down. So these are 12-way front seats, and I will say the attention to detail on this interior is really nice. I love the accents that it gives. It does still have the two-tone interior, so you do have the lighter color roof. I will admit I'm not a fan of that, but I can make myself feel better because of the stitching color in the interior. You guys see you have these really cool animations for these screens. Now, I've done so many videos on these trucks. I haven't driven a truck like this in a while, so I really want to drive this truck today. I want to get on the highway, and here's what I'll tell you. Yes, it's going to ride a little different from a regular 3/4 ton, but I don't think most people will notice. I think that GM trucks ride pretty well, and so it's rare that you can tell a difference. But before we go, you guys will see that this truck has a bed camper capacity of 2,655 pounds. So yeah, that's not bad. Pretty good, actually. Let's go ahead and take it for a quick drive. I will admit, this truck does ride a little stiffer compared to like a 3/4 ton I've driven in the past. I haven't driven these in a while, so it does ride like a 1 ton, right? So that is a negative. So if you don't necessarily need the extra capacity, then this package is not really needed. And I think another thing you have to consider too is you have to build one of these trucks alongside of a 1 ton to even see if this package is beneficial, because it might make sense, depending on where you live at, just to go with the 1 ton if this package does increase the price higher than a regular 1 ton truck. Just something to consider. I would say resale value, I don't think it matters anymore, because these 3/4 tons now have good payload capacity, right? They raised that number by 1,350 pounds from the 2019 and earlier trucks. So you're not really fighting payload capacity anymore with these trucks. And in a lot of cases, if you're trying to tow a triple axle toy hauler, you should really technically be going to a dually anyways. So I've been driving the truck now for a few minutes, and let's see, it probably should show the drive summary, so that way you guys can see MBG, just more city driving. And now we're about to get on the highway here. But yeah, you can definitely tell this truck's a little bit stiffer, but always remember this, a stiffer ride does obviously mean a better towing truck too, right? Acceleration is really good, very smooth too. And of course, these trail runner tires are quiet. Yeah, I really do like this truck. I think that for most people, they will find that this truck rides great. I don't think I would ever have a problem daily driving this truck. Now in the city, it will be a chore because it is a little stiffer, right? It's a bigger truck. But overall, I would say that because GMs have longer beds, they have longer wheelbases, so that's another reason why they ride good too. And if you want a better riding pickup, I do recommend, if you are planning to lift your truck, to go with McGaughy's, because they do give you more droop travel, and that droop travel does turn into a more smoother ride. Better steering, in my opinion. And I think overall this truck still performs well, so if you plan on keeping it stock too, you wouldn't be disappointed. So here's the moment of truth. Does this package change the tire pressure on this truck? Well, we're about to find out here in a second. So the axle rating out front is 5,600 pounds. The rear is 7,250 pounds. The gross axle without that package on this truck would be 6,600 pounds. This does not change. Gross vehicle rating is 11,750, and all-in payload is 3,405 pounds. So this truck would probably have right around 2,900 pounds without this package. Maybe around 3,000 actually, because remember, the max trailering is going to add weight to this truck, so it's going to obviously reduce the payload if it did not have a higher gross vehicle weight rating. Okay, it does increase the gross combined to 30,000 pounds too, and this truck weighs on the curb 8,345 pounds. 20,000 pound conventional towing, 21.6, so you get all those numbers matching the 1 ton truck. And unfortunately, they do increase the tire pressure for this truck, and it's not a shocker because you're getting a higher axle rating by that tire pressure too. And so it's 60 out front, 80 in the rear. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to subscribe to your channel. I try to give you guys as much information as I can. Share it with people if it's helpful to you. See you guys in the next video.